Alright guys, welcome to another beer review, and today we're going back over to the Robinson's Brewery in Stockport, and we're... Oh, can you hear that? Oh god. I don't know if you can hear that, but oh, sorry, I think it's gone. I don't know if you could hear that, but that was the PC Brigade, and oh no, oh my god, it's a sexist beer label. Oh, no, oh no, what am I doing? Yeah, the PC Brigade won't like that label, and they won't like the name of the beer either, but yeah, people just love to go out of their way to be offended, don't they? And ironically, most of the time, it's not even the people depicted on these sorts of things who get offended. It's other people getting offended on other people's behalf. Mainly because people love to go out of their way to be offended as opposed to going out of their way to offend. But anyway, I don't know what that was all about, by the way. Yeah, this is the Dizzy Blonde, and she sure does look like a... I'm not even going to go there, and I'm joking, of course. 4.4% ABV zesty ale, hopped with Amarillo, and refreshing golden ale packed full of Amarillo hops from across the pond. Dizzy Blonde started life as a summer seasonal beer, but incredible success has allowed us to back it as one of our permanently available in our pubs and now in bottle. Nicknamed Peggy, she is a vibrant beer with a distinctive wild aromatic hop. Enjoy the spirit of innovation that comes with Robinson's craft beers. And yeah, like I said, it's pretty damn tasteful, if I do say so myself. It's not like a ginger pubed muff opened up on a tap handle, like I'm sure you would find in some more regional sorts of pubs. But yeah, I can see that this would ruffle a few feathers within the easily offended branches of the craft beer community. But yeah, if you're getting offended by a beer label, then I think you really have to re-establish your priorities in life. It's like these people who are now getting offended by these like anti-Donald Trump sort of protest beers, and it's like, why are you getting offended by that? It's silly, and you look like a dick when you go on social media on your little tirades, attacking people and not actually talking to those people directly before going on your tirade to get their side of the story. And yeah, this whole PC culture, it's like beer was supposed to be my safe space, and now it's being attacked by the safe space generation. And yeah, it's bloody annoying. And every aspect of life now seems to offend some stupid group of people or collective, and this whole collectivist mentality and sheep mentality is just so fucking annoying. Just get a grip. There are people who are literally being killed for their views. They're being killed because of their sexual orientation. They're being killed because they might be a man. They're killed because they might be a woman. They might be this branch of religion who are opposed to that branch of religion. They have different ideals. People are literally being killed, and there's outrage when there's an attractive, somewhat scantily clad yet tasteful woman on a label. You work that one out, folks. You work that one out. Anyway, yeah, I've not had any real ale for a little while because I've been spending most of my beer money on craft and sort of like traditional European styles. So I thought on my walk home from work, try saying that 10 times when you're pissed, on my walk home from work this evening, popped into Bargain Booze and thought I'd buy a few beers, and I've already reviewed one, which was the Wizard from Robinson's, which is a fairly nice amber ale. So yeah, I've not cleaned the glass, but hopefully that shouldn't be too much. See, that's probably going to offend someone. Because, oh, you shouldn't be drinking this sort of beer in this sort of glass, no, you're pouring it wrong. I've got a shit home life, but I'm going to take it out on people who are doing things that I don't agree with. That's essentially what it boils down to, ladies and gentlemen. See, I was being inclusive there. But yeah, get a grip. Seriously, get a fucking grip. I'm actually probably going to end up doing a video on this, just going off the rails. But yeah, Dizzy Blonde, clocking in at 4.4%. Visuals are golden, as you can clearly see. Yeah, I would not disagree with that, with maybe some slight amber hues. The smell is wild, aromatic, and zesty hop. And then the taste is crisp, zesty, and refreshing, according to the thirsty Cyclops there. But yeah, beer in a glass, and yeah, it's got that sort of like dark golden look to it. Beautiful one, well, about just shy of 2 fingers worth of a slightly off-white head. But yeah, it looks like a fairly nice pale ale so far, or blonde ale, or whatever it is, because calling something a zesty ale doesn't really give you too much of an idea what it actually boils down to. Not that I'm going to complain about that. I'm not going to take points off because of something like that. Anyway, looks lovely. Let's see what we get on the nose. And it's got a lovely, gentle zestiness to it. Now, of course, we're used to Amarillo hops being backed up with the likes of Citra and Mosaic in these like tropical juice bomb IPAs where they shine a little bit more, because I find as much as you can get a really good character from a single hop, sometimes you need other hops to just... It's like putting a little bit of salt in a cake batter. You know, when you first do it, you think, do I really need to put salt in a cake? And it's like, yes, because it brings out the flavour. And I think, although it's a lovely, gentle citrusy tone, I think in the more hazy, craftier sort of IPAs, the Mosaic sort of hop shines. But credit to a sort of bigger brewery using a hop like Mosaic in one of their beers. And you do get that. It's got that sort of like subtle, zesty, yet tropical vibe. I'm getting a big whiff of blood orange on this beer. A little bit of a lime character. Lovely sort of powdery, biscuity malts coming through as well. It's got like a level of crispness to it. But yeah, it smells really nice. Bit muted, but it's not supposed to be a pungent beer when you really think about it. And I think when you're reviewing a beer like this and you do like the other end of the beer spectrum, you can sort of get a little bit blindsided and, you know, one directional with your output. But yeah, this still smells really, really nice. So let's give it a taste. Cheers. And that's a nice, subtle, citrusy tone. One thing that I will say is it tastes a little bit soapy. Not that I've ever had, you know, washing up liquid soap water and drank it. But you do get that sort of like, it is ever so slightly synthetic. I will say that. But you definitely taste the Mosaic in there. Maybe they could have actually been a little bit more bold. And it would have been a little bit more pungent. But at the same time, it is only a sessionable sort of golden ale. Or blonde ale. I'm guessing because they've called it Dizzy Blonde, it might be a blonde ale. But what exactly is a British blonde ale? Is it a golden ale? Then what's exactly a golden ale? Is it a pale ale? Then can you really define pale ale? I think there's so many offshoots and branches in this weird and wonderful beery landscape we live in, that it can be hard to really define even what is. It's a simple beer. It really, really is. It's far from exciting. It's got a lovely hoppy bitterness on the back end though, that dries out a little bit. Nice carbonation, not too carbonated. It's got actually quite a bold body for its ABV. And I noticed that with the the Wizard from Robinson's as well. Lower sessionable real ale beers, but as crisp as they are, they're still bold in their complexity in the body. But yeah, it's a little bit... I'd say you get a lot of lime in the flavour with this beer. You know, compare lime to lemon. Lemon's a little bit more bright and zesty, although if you squeeze a lemon on your tongue, it's not going to be pleasant. I would not recommend it. Squirt it in your eyes instead. See, why can't they? Right, no. I was going to make a horrible joke about acid attacks, I was going to say. As an alternate, why don't you mildly inconvenience someone with lemon acid as opposed to a corrosive acid? And it'll carry a less harsher prison sentence if you're caught. But yeah, acid attacks. First of all, fuck anyone who does acid attacks. And fuck this craze that I've been seeing, although it's died down considerably, on like YouTube with people pranking people, like walking up to complete strangers and throw like water in the face. It's like, how much of a dickhead could you be? Yeah, this has turned into a little bit of let's moan about everything else aside from the beer. And that's the thing. I think this sums up the beer. It's, without sounding too harsh, it's a little bit nondescript. It's one of those beers that you buy round in at the pub and you just drink it. It's better than drinking like the drab sort of like whatever macro lagers on tap, that sort of thing. It's got a bit more flavour. Well, it's got a lot more flavour. It's a lot more bold. But in the grand scheme of things, and I don't think they were trying to make like a, you know, in your face, like zesty pale ale. It's an easy drinking, sessionable beer. And it's one of those beers that you drink to accompany the conversation and the company that you are with. Do you know what I mean? It's a sociable beer. You know, it's a Lake District on a rainy day. You've come in after a nice little bit of a walk. You want to warm up. You don't really want to go back outside. And you're like, oh, they've got that on tap. I'll have a couple of pints of that. We'll see what the weather's like. Weather's still a little bit rainy, a little bit drizzly, a little bit although I like that sort of weather, especially in a place like the Lake District. And you're like, do you know what? Why don't we have something to eat here? And you buy a couple more pints. And next thing you know, oh shit, we can't drive back to wherever we need to go. Why don't we spend the night here? Because this wonderful pub that we live in has rooms to rent. And we get a English breakfast tomorrow where we can have another pint of it. It's one of those sorts of beers. And what a life you must live if that's something you could do on a regular basis. I'd love to like lodge in a pub. Do you know what I mean? Everyone goes to like holiday cottages or little hotels or little apartments that they rent. I would be so happy in the Lake District to find a nice, quaint pub and spend a couple of days there. I think I've got to do that. Maybe visit Hawkshead as well while I'm there. But we're not here to talk about Lake District or Hawkshead. We're here to talk about Robinson's and their Dizzy Blonde. Yeah, it's one of those beers where I could happily pick up 3 for a fiver and go to like a friend or family's house and just drink them and enjoy them without like being sat in the corner going, ooh, taste the complexity of the citrusy aromas from the Amarillo hop. And your family and friends are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Or they drink it, it's a bit too bitter. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those beers where you drink it with good company and good food, and the flavours are subtle enough that it would accompany that sort of thing. But it still has flavour if you look for it. It's just not the most exciting of beers, and I don't think it was supposed to be that. But yeah, I think that's a really nice, honest little hoppy pint, and I would happily give that. I'd definitely drink it again, so I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. It just hits that I would happily drink this beer again, and I'd love to see what this would be like on cask as well. But yeah, every beer has its place. We can get a little bit blindsided when we look at beers. You know, if you're going from like a mango slushy, quadruple dry hopped IPA sour from Omnipollo to a beer like this, of course the flavour profile is not gonna, you know, match up. But if you're having a nice little, you know, pub crawl, or you just want to have a few beers with curry, watching a sporting event, at a funeral, you know, it's one of those sorts of beers where you've got people around you, good company, and that's what I'd want people to do at my funeral. I would say, don't pay, because I want to be cremated anyway. No, I want to have my body donated to science. So once that's done, you do your ceremony. Don't be sad. Just get the beers in. I'll leave money in the will for that, for a nice piss up, and get those craft beers in, get the real ales in, get the lagers in for the the casuals, and just have a good time. And I think this is one of those beers that could accompany a good time, because this would definitely put the fun in funeral. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing in this video. I've gone on so many unrelated, unfunny tangents on this one, but I'm going to upload it anyway because, yeah, I think people need to see this because it's important and it's a game changer, just like me. So if you tried this beer, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. Are you a fan of the brewery? What are your thoughts and opinions on this whole sexist artwork? Don't get me wrong, there are some horrifically misogynistic aspects of beer. There's horrifically misogynistic aspects of life, full stop. But when it comes to something like this, I mean, come on. Context, people. You know, just take a step back, think about it. So yeah, what's your whole opinion on the PC aspect of the beer industry and that sort of stuff? Maybe I should do a video on that and get people talking about it. But of course, as long as the beer's good, that to me is what's important. You know, as long as the Robinsons aren't like, you know, a white slave trade with women in the brewery, where like women are shackled up and, you know, they're putting the grain in and then they're lashed because a bit, you know, one of the husks falls on the floor. You know, if Robinsons were doing that, then I would be a little, oh, hang on a minute. Your beer's good, but yeah, ethical business practices are little to be desired. But anyway, yeah, if you tried the beer, let me know your thoughts, opinions, fan of the brewery, yada yada yada. Check out Robinson's Brewery. I've got a few beers reviewed on the channel now. Check out my Real Ale playlist as well. And of course, if any of my friends and fellow beer tubers have reviewed it, then their links will be included as well. So thank you for watching, and I shall hopefully see you all later if you haven't unsubscribed. Cheers.